Ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, warmest greetings to you one and all. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Welcome to the channel. Very nice to have you with us. And as always, every Sunday morning this time, I'm joined by my good friend, R. Wayne Steiger. And this is not your normal Sunday show. How you doing, Wayne?
I am doing good. We're in the summertime and, it's summertime. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So I'm doing a lot better than Jeffrey Epstein this morning.
Certainly don't bend over to get the soap.
Jeffrey Epstein indicted federally on charges of child endangerment, child abuse. And another thing that people forget is about 200 pages of the documents relating to this have also been released. So it's about to get real interesting.
I think I heard about it, but I don't even know who Epstein is.
Oh, he's the guy that was flying the Clintons to his orgy island, the Lolita Express.
I'll tell you what now. Life's a bitch.
Yeah.
I read that Michelle Obama is lamenting that she did not get any sleep the night before they had to move out of the White House and turn it over to the Trumps. Apparently that was a very emotional, distressed moment for her in her life, as she says.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I saw this morning where she refused to support Joe Obama, too, refused to get his back. And boy, with friends like that, a guy doesn't need any enemies.
Joe, he's the best thing the Republicans could ever hope for. I want to tell you, I want to call out to the disdain, I think, of all Americans when you have congresspeople who abuse the office and deliberately break their oath of office. Then I contend they're no longer eligible for that office. There is a congresswoman by the name of Veronica Escobar, took office. She is a representative down, I think, in El Paso, I think Eagle County, that area. Apparently, Miss Escobar has ordered her staff to illegally go over into Mexico for those, and these are criminals, rapists, murderers, just about anyone, and her staff is directing illegals how to circumvent the U.S. Customs and Border. They will literally walk people through, tell them to lie. It just goes on and on. This broke yesterday. Her office number is 202-225-4831. Let her know how much we appreciate the fact that she's apparently embarrassed of the U.S. Constitution, doesn't recognize, apparently, our Declaration of Independence, and apparently she feels that this is the way that a congressperson is supposed to act.
Well, that sounds like sedition and treason to me, and she should be arrested and charged.
She should be. And this is ridiculous when you have politicians that disdain the honor and the sanctity of this country. It's just like this Kamala Harris. You have to say that this woman is a racist. To say that you're going to have the American taxpayer put up $100 billion and give a race, a specific race, preferential treatment in free homes, reduced homes, and to zero-type loan situations, that's racism.
Well, Wayne, you got to understand, it's all right to be racist if you're getting back at people for being racist.
And that's a race.
What a bunch of garbage that is, too.
I tell you, it irks me when I see this kind of nonsense going on. A house divided against itself cannot stand. That's a marriage. That's a nation. That's a business. You just can't do it.
It is. I wonder if any of our Southern California subscribers and watchers have felt any of those earthquakes out there.
I got an email yesterday from a person that lives right too far from there, and they're still feeling aftershocks. I don't think that this is anything. It's not relieve the stress. That's just it.
Wow.
It's the offshoot of the San Andreas, and apparently from the experts, they're saying this is a protenter to something. Who knows?
Craziness. And I saw something on Drudge Report that I thought was fascinating. And I wanted to see if I can show it real quick. I don't know if I can show the pictures or not, but did you see this, Wayne? A Skywatcher over in the Netherlands was able to pick up and track the super secretive Air Force skyplane.
X-37B, isn't it?
The X-37B, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing to be able to catch that thing. It looks like that looks like a spaceship to me. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but wow. It looks like the space shuttle with an extra something on the back of it.
So, founder of Boeing Skunk Works, his name escapes me right here, but on his deathbed, he said, we're hundreds of years ahead. Anything you're seeing, he says, is ancient history.
Yeah. So the Space Force is probably not as big a joke as we want to make it.
I think it's pretty serious. I don't know. If you think about Mars and the evidence that we're seeing, by the way, there's a cool website you can actually go to and actually get the raw footage from both Rover and Curiosity. I don't know. If life existed there, that means life existed here or came here. And I happen to think that may be where it is.
Do you think those rovers are actually on Mars?
I do. I really do. Let me show you something. Odd that you mentioned that, because yesterday I took off last couple of days. It's been great. Enjoying our nation. All right. So
I have a question for you about that too when you get done with this.
Okay. All right. So this is, allow me to share this with you. So this is Curiosity. It literally just came off the day before. So you see anything here? You can see the tracks, right? Doesn't look like it's anything different.
I don't see it showing yet. Oh, here it comes.
Here it comes. Do you see it now?
Yep.
Okay. YouTube is a little slow today. So this just looks like an ordinary picture, right?
It looks like Mars isn't flat either.
Yeah, well, that's a convex lens.
Yeah.
So the odd thing is this, can you see that? I know it looks small. Tell me what the hell that is. Do you see it?
I can, yeah, it's a real small picture. You talking about the thing in the sky?
Yeah, now I should be magnified on your screen.
That looks like a propeller airplane.
Looks like something, doesn't it?
It does.
But anyway, that's Mars. And
yeah, that's why a lot of people are like, "Ooh, I don't know if that's Mars or not," because it looks an awful lot like, different. Some of the things that come out of there look like they're in Southern California or other places. So yeah, it's interesting.
It is interesting. I don't know. I've been meditating. So we're going to have a question about the holiday.
Did you watch the Salute to America, and what did you think?
I did not. I was out in the countryside, but I hear it was a brilliant speech.
Well, I got to tell you, as a veteran, it literally brought tears to my eyes to watch that. And Excellent. It was completely nonpartisan. It was just about celebrating and saluting this nation. And I tell you what, anybody that has trouble with that, I just don't understand what's wrong with you.
Unfortunately, we have representatives that have a problem with that.
Yep.
I just, I don't know, Jeff. A nation, difference of opinion is fine. I think that if you can have common ground and you can say, well, I like white, I like blue, I like chocolate, I like strawberry. All right, fine.
Absolutely.
We can both say, well, hey, we both agree it's good ice cream. Today, I don't understand it. If we continue down this road, we will tear ourselves apart. We will literally, and I don't know. It saddens me to see supposedly intelligent men and women with agendas that are so destructive, so hateful, so divisive. I don't see anyone, maybe Trump may be the only one, but they'll never accept it, as a guy who says it's a job.
Yeah.
It's not a religion. It's not a belief system. It's a job. What say you?
Like I said, it was, I mean, the fact that that's the first time a president's ever done that boggles my mind.
Yeah.
Every year we should celebrate this nation and who we are and what we are. And somebody in the chat room says millions of dollars spent where it could have been put into infrastructure. Where were you when Obama was going off on his damn golf vacations, which cost as much?
That is intellectually dishonest. Whoever wrote that. Tell me, is your mind that small that you're going to pick up a sound bite from NBC News as your basis for rebuttal?
Yes.
Where were you protesting when Obama sent over $100 billion to the Iranians on 3 U.S. private jets?
No.
That's it. Is okay.
And Robert USN Vet correctly states that the national news sources, the fake media, the fake news, they wouldn't even show the huge crowds on the mall.
No, they couldn't handle it.
Mm-mm. And what does it say when a very significant portion of the country doesn't want it's become bad and wrong to be proud of your nation. It's become bad and wrong to celebrate the men and women that have given their lives and have given service to this country. It's wrong to do that now.
Yeah.
What kind of people are they? And Wayne, they're not going away.
You know what I say? And here I will say to anyone who has a problem with this country, get your sorry ass, and I'll tell you, go to Venezuela. They'll welcome you. Or if you'd like to go to China, they'll welcome you into their re-education camp. And then let's talk. You know what? When I see something like that, that's an ingrate. That's a person who's grown up in privilege of a free country that has had the right to express their minds, and then they want to tear it down and allow future generations to be imprisoned into some sort of dystopian, authoritarian environment.
You know, it would be interesting if some of these people that don't like the United States, if they decided that they want to go somewhere else, to see how hard it is to go somewhere else. You just can't move to Mexico. It's not like you can just walk into Mexico. You just can't walk into Canada. And that might show you that, oh, maybe we're not as bad as you think we are, because we allow a lot of people to just walk in even if we shouldn't. So go ahead and see what it's like to try to go somewhere else. And if you do get there, see how much you like it while you're there. And by the way, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Exactly. If you and I crossed illegally into Mexico, we would be arrested by the federalities. We would probably be in a Mexican prison for the next couple of years while the U.S. Embassy worked out how to see we could get out.
Exactly.
We saw this happen under the Obama administration with a group of Marines that were obviously intoxicated. What did that take? It took the president, Jimmy Carter, to come in and negotiate their release. You know, we live in an insane world. But my contention is, AOC, you don't like this country? Move your sorry ass to Venezuela and then let us know what privilege it is to live in a socialist world.
Yeah.
But Jeff, we're losing it here as this country. We're losing it, my friend.
We are. And then you have the small minds like Philip Blair talking about going to Mar-a-Lago every weekend. Presidents go places and they do things.
Do you know how many times Obama golfed, Philip? Come on, be honest. Now, if you're going to be in here, you have to be intellectually honest. I don't care what your other stances are, but here you will be intellectually honest. So tell us, Mr. Oracle, how many times did Obama go and play golf?
Yeah. And Astro Wake says, I'm leaving. I hope you all get your head out of your you-know-whats. And I just have this to say to you, Astro Wake. Well,
Bye.
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 See ya.
See ya. Yes.
Wayne, you're a terrible person.
Yes, I am. Don't come in here with your nonsense and think that you're going to bowl you and I over. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't work here. It's accountability. Ay.
It's not your normal Sunday show, Wayne.
It is not. It is not.
And just by the way, Donald Trump is donating all of his presidential salary, $400,000 a year. Barry took every penny. I'm just saying.
And more. Let's see. Barry was worth
That's
zero.
Barack Obama. He took the $400K and put it in his pocket.
He was worth zero. His assets were worth zero, less than $1 million. He leaves office. Now his assets are worth over $100 million.
How does that work?
Well, baseball's been very good to me.
So even if he took all of his $400,000 salary and invested it over 8 years to get to $100 billion, I would really like to know who his financial. To get to $100 million, I'd still like to know who his financial guy is.
Hillary Clinton, she took 100,000 and she took 1,000 and made 100,000. Remember on the controversy of the
right, exactly, what do they call those commodities?
Yeah.
She's just brilliant, Wayne. She's just a brilliant woman.
I can't understand why she didn't get there. She only had 3 bites at the apple.
She's a brilliant woman, and she may take another bite if Creepy Joe goes down.
Oh man. Listen, you and I are getting older. I mean, all of us are. But I can't.
Where are you, Philip? With Trump not taking his salary and Obama taking his, where are you?
It doesn't work.
Crickets.
Deborah, you're going to have to show me that. He did not have over $1 billion unless it was hidden. You can go online and check his tax reports, that his tax receipts, his filings, his tax.
I agree that taxation is theft. Someone put that in.
I agree with that. Yeah. I can't figure out right now, our Congress is spending money like there's no tomorrow. Over $1 trillion. This is the Democrats now, the Democratic controlled Congress. $1 trillion we surpassed in additional debt that Congress has spent.
Yeah. And somebody in here saying Trump paid for the parade out of his pocket. I haven't seen any data of that being true.
I haven't seen that either. But I think that it's just as a nation, we should do that. Don't we pay for the Park Service anyway, for the 4th of July celebrations and the big fireworks? I mean, people get all wrapped around.
CJ, you're an idiot. Goodbye.
Let's see. What? I missed something.
Oh, just somebody being very rude.
Well,
and they'll never be rude on this channel again.
No. So I have a question.
And, somebody talks about it's not illegal to be a refugee. It's funny, Philip, how when you watch the people come across the border, how many of them are all great military shape young men? Where's the old people? Where's the infirm people? Are you that stupid that you can't see they're dumping people into this country trying to make a secret revolution? They are not refugees. And if you are a refugee, there's ways for you to go about it. We've taken in more refugees in this country than all the other countries in the world combined. So don't talk that to me because it's wrong. You're stupid. You're ignorant. If you can't do the math and look at the reality of it, this country has the most liberal immigration laws in the history of mankind. We've taken in far more people than anybody else has. And if you want to defend people that want to sneak in here illegally, then you are always going to be on the other side of the aisle from me on that issue. And I am all for rounding people up that break the law, whether they break immigration law or murder law, and sending them back where they came from, cousin.
And let's just be honest, people's memory, particularly millennials, y'all have about a 9-second memory. So 2 years, 2016, the Obama State Department began to send messages down to Honduras, Nicaragua, and other surrounding Central America that the United States, because they saw a potential of an election coming, that this was the time to start. Now, when you start these large
Migrations, yeah.
migrations, yes, the caravans, they take time to be organized.
They do.
Millions of dollars is being spent in organizing these caravans. Now, these caravans are stretching cross-country borders, which means these countries have gotten together and have conspired against the United States. And again, this was under the Obama State Department. And today, we're now living that nightmare. In fact, Barack Obama said on Thursday in the Wall Street Journal, it was reported, this is a disaster. This is beyond anything I think they were anticipating.
Wayne, if the U.S. is such a bad place, where's the caravans headed south?
Yeah, I mean, why aren't they heading down to Venezuela?
Yeah, why isn't everybody heading south to get the hell out of here if it's so bad?
Yeah, Colombia. Why aren't we going? Exactly. Why aren't we seeing them going from Washington to Oregon and California, the caravans heading south? You know what? The Mexican government would never allow it. They would have their military. So this is a conspiracy, America. This is a conspiracy by the coup. There is an active coup taking place. And I'll tell you, when you have unfringed borders, you have politicians saying there should be no borders, folks, you've lost your sovereignty.
And you've got a person in Australia who's smart enough to say it's to screw up the USA to the point of no return.
Exactly. That's exactly what it's doing. They're sending us their revolutionaries. They're sick. They're invalid. 2% of the known population of Nicaragua is now in the United States illegally. And now we've got Africans coming over from Ebola-contaminated countries, sneaking over the Rio Grande by apparently U.S. officials, and no health screening, no blood testing, no nothing. Texas is now suffering in these cities, these refugee cities that are in the population is becoming sick. They're bringing in disease. They're bringing in all sorts of stuff that, and listen, all of these people who promote this stuff, open up your house. I don't see these politicians, these congressmen, these senators opening up their house and taking in these families.
Where's the Catholic Church? They're empty anyway. Let them come and sleep in the Catholic Church.
Oh, Jeff, people have got to wake up. This is an invasion.
It is. It's actually, that's exactly what it is. It's an invasion. They're trying to take over the United States. Wow, that's so crazy. It's very simple. The people that come in as illegal immigrants, 99.9% of them vote Democratic if they can get them registered. And now they're trying to pass laws where they don't even have to be legal. You can be an illegal and vote. The only way the Democratic Party can win elections is to import voters, and that's what they're doing.
Whoever's governor, whoever has ever signed bills to allow illegals to vote should be arrested and tried for treason, because you are not an American. You are anti-American. And it's time we start getting rid of this anti-American nonsense, because I don't know about you, Jeff. I don't like the idea of living under the cartels. I don't like living under where here in Denver on Friday, we were up there and we were with a group, we were watching the news. In 10 minutes, 16 murders, 3 rapes, and a number of robberies was the local news for the first 10 minutes.
Isn't that horrible? The people with tuberculosis, the people with all of these dread disease are coming in. And I mean, we have immigration laws. Apply, go through the screening, do it the right way. You're welcome. But you're not welcome to jump the fence and break our laws. You're just not.
I was a member of the Council for National Policy, and we had access to the power brokers. The most interesting meeting I attended was with the representative of the Border Patrol's union. And this was in 2000. This is what freaked us out. 2014. They were finding camps, obviously Muslim. They found copies of the Quran. They found copies of detonation manuals. Their cells are already here. They've been here. They have now blended into the population, and we tried to make this known to the Justice Department. They wouldn't listen to it, didn't care. The Border Patrol was reporting this. Don't tell me that we're safe.
And why? The only thing that makes sense is that it allows the leftist politicians to stay in power.
Mm-hmm. We've got to wake up, Jeff. We have got to wake up. I love this country. I grew up in the best time. I mean, the 70s were pretty cool. The 60s it was a revolution in the 60s of social ideals, political morals. We went through this with Nixon. I was a protester. I got my head beat with a baton, the tear gas, because we did not want tyranny. And that's what we saw Nixon as. But what we didn't realize, that Johnson was even worse.
Yep. And Cynthia L. brings up a good point that something called rape trees are being found all over ranchers' lands down on the border. And what happens is these immigrants, these fine, wonderful, upstanding, poor refugees that they just need a better life in the U.S., they come across the border and they have these trees where they tie women to these trees and gang rape them. So there's your refugees. There's your poor, horrible people that you're defending. So
here in the Denver area, the rapes are underreported by the illegals. I mean, they arrest these illegals that got rap sheets a mile long. Why? Because Denver's a sanctuary city. We got a governor is, as far as I'm concerned, is as anti-American as can be. When you start getting to this point where you lose common sense, listen, if a person has a problem in the country, we have a process. We have an immigration process.
Yep.
It worked for well over 100 years until you got these radicals in here. And you know what? It started with Clinton and then with with Barry. And I refuse to call him Obama. His name is Barry.
Barry Soetoro.
That's his name, folks. You live in illusion if you call this guy Barack Obama. It's a made-up name. Barry, I contend, was merely a puppet, which was obviously an agenda. And he did say that he was fundamentally going to change America.
And I'm making the prediction again, before Donald Trump leaves office, it'll be revealed that Barack Obama was born in Kenya.
Well, I still say that the Democrats there should be full-scale investigations against the Justice Department under Barack Obama. Loretta Lynch should be already been censured and brought before the House Judiciary, the Senate as well. Let's go with Fast and Furious. Then let's go to Hillary. Known admissions, breaking felony laws. These are felonies. Yet, nothing. We're on these rabbit chases that the Democrats started. They started this whole thing by a lie, and it was conceived in July of 2015. 16.
This is, and this just came to me. This is why everybody hates Donald Trump. On the left, on the right, because he is exposing, as Tony says, the left-right paradigm. Yeah. He's exposing the people that are making money off the drugs and off the human trafficking and off the illegal immigration. And Trump is he literally is getting rid of the deep state. He's literally draining the swamp, and they are scared to death because people don't understand the deep state is not just Republican or just Democrat. It is lifetime workers that are from both sides that have the real power, and Trump is breaking it up.
He is. And they
hate him for it. Both sides hate him equally. And I'm telling you, I think he's going to get reelected, and I think in his second term you will see sanctuary cities defunded. You might see the mayors arrested, or at least kicked out of their positions and new elections held. I'm telling you, folks, tick-tock, it's coming.
You know, I am a Hermetist. I believe in the 7 principles. And the principle about polarity, the pendulum will swing back. And, you know, I think this phoniness of, you know, what I really can understand about Democrats is that they tried to buy the vote. You know, Obama did it. I was in Philadelphia a lot on business, and I saw a lot of what was going on.
Wayne, how many people voted for Obama just because they knew they'd get a free cell phone?
Oh, I would say well over. In the cities, in Philadelphia, you would think they said 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Over a cell phone. Oh, I'll vote. Give me a cell phone. I'll vote.
And so here's the thing that drives me nuts. So my brother is a liberal.
Because Wayne, I would watch, and I'm sorry, I know I just cut you off. I would watch because they paid people to get these petitions. They'd have 2 clipboards. Hey, number 1, hey, you want to get a free cell phone? Okay, and here's the next one. Sign up, register to be a Democratic voter.
Yeah, yeah. And here's what gets me. Who was the contractor that got that contract?
For the phones, who was it?
Yes, it was an Obama operative, former business partner. Now, what's really interesting, we talk about Trump, but yet, I'm going to take you back. Do y'all remember a company called Solyndra?
I don't.
Solyndra, check them out. You got them right there. They were the company that received $550 million in a loan from the Barack Obama administration. They went bankrupt.
Oh, that's right.
If you look at this track record, we're missing nearly $100 billion that was loaned under the Obama administration. It don't exist anymore.
You know, and Wayne, I can build a website literally for about $15. How many billions were spent on the Obamacare website, and they could never get it right, and all that money is just it's gone. Well, it's gone. I don't know where it went.
Yeah, you know, they were the ones that were cheering on Trump when they got it defunded because they're like, man, let's get rid of the evidence. You know,
yeah.
That was a fiasco. And then remember, hey, how many of you remember in 2009 Cash for Clunkers? How many of you remember in 2009 if you were a Chrysler stockholder or GM and you found that suddenly the government, under the stroke of an executive order by Barack Obama, you were pushed to the side. You lost your shares. This was done under a Democratic president, but we don't talk about this. I haven't seen any of this nonsense done under Trump.
No. Somebody says, Tony says that Sheldon Adelson is Trump's pimp. Well,
no.
Let me say this, Tony. Sheldon Adelson was Trump's pimp. He owed $1 billion to Sheldon and his boys. But let's see. Recognition of the Golan Heights, Jerusalem as the embassy, and I'm forgetting another big one. Anyway, those two, with all the billions that Adelson and his boys had, they couldn't have bought either one of them. I contend that Trump has now bought his freedom, and Trump used to be Adelson's bitch, but not anymore. And then somebody says Trump's not a real Republican. Thank God we don't need real Republicans. We don't need real Democrats. We need real Americans.
You know, the only way you can get into office, you're going to have to either be right or left. You know, we all believed in Perot. We really did. We really thought having maybe an independent could win.
Gary Baxter, we don't use that language on this channel.
But the thing that got me was that to be an independent, you can't be an independent. I wish we could. You know, listen, I think that, you know, when you have more of a representative democracy, then you would have multiple parties.
What do you mean that we can't be a independent?
No independent will ever be voted in as president.
That's a good point.
Won't happen. Number one, the challenges of the state's requirement filings alone would virtually make it impossible. Then you would have both parties spending, I don't know, God, how much money to disqualify him. I mean, they're trying to do that with Trump right now. In Colorado, there's a petition to get it to where Trump can't run.
To get it to where Trump can't run?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just want to say this to both sides, conservative liberals. And I said this to my brother who lives in Houston. He was all gleefully telling me when the elections that the city council, and I think it was the county government as well, but I know the city council in Houston voted out all the opposing party.
Yep. And Janine correctly states that independents typically, in most states, some of them are different, but in most states, independents can't vote in primaries.
This is true. We couldn't vote here in Colorado for the long because we're independents.
Mm-hmm.
So, I said, but Guy, if you remove the opposition's voice, isn't that communism?
Well, unless it's done at the ballot box.
Well, apparently it was. But in Houston, you have to understand it's so skewed. The point was, if they voted in one representing party, then I'd say to Houston, you no longer have a democratic government. You have one party that's now controlling everything. That's communism.
Well, what happens in 2020 when the Republicans win the House and the Senate and Trump gets reelected?
Well, I hope they get someone who knows what they're doing. I mean, Jeff, look what the Republicans, these guys could mess up a wet dream. They had everything going for them in 2017. They had the House, they had the Senate, and they had a Republican president. What happens? You can't even get the House to get together. They were inept for 2 years. And the Senate, I'm trying to figure out, was McConnell running the Senate or was it Schuster?
Schumer, perfect example of why Trump is hated by both sides.
Yeah,
Even a Republican Congress wouldn't work with Trump at the beginning.
No. And the thing about it is, Americans, there's an active coup still taking place.
There is. And it is a coup.
It is a coup.
An attempted coup.
Yeah.
And, Philip Blair says he loves Ross Perot. Ross Perot had some good ideas. He had some bad ideas. But I'll tell you this, at least Ross Perot had more guts than Ron Paul. Ross Perot actually ran as an independent when he couldn't win the Republican nomination. And Ron Paul got scared, wussed out, and wouldn't run independent. And I know that all you Paulies are going to be mad at me, but if Ron Paul was a real man, he'd have done what Pat Buchanan did. He'd have done what Ross Perot did, and he would have taken the courage of his convictions and took them to the American people.
Yeah, and George H. still says that he lost that re-election because of Perot.
Oh, he did. It's pretty much mathematically provable. If you add what Perot got to what
Bush got,
that beats Clinton.
Yeah, Clinton would have never been in there. We would have changed our whole destiny. Think about this. But
still, I would, even though I didn't want Clinton to be president, I still say salute to Ross Perot for having the guts to do it.
Yeah. And listen, I'll say one thing for Bill Clinton. The economy prospered underneath that guy.
Oh, Clinton was brilliant because he governed like a Republican and talked like a Democrat.
He did. He was the perfect, Southern governor. He knew exactly how to bridge. Look what Newt Gingrich did. They got the deal with America,
the contract with America.
Yeah. Remember that? It was a good time. I was making money hand over fist. The technology market was, the tax incentives were great. Investors were having incentives to invest. What I don't understand is why our Congress is not focusing in on jobs, why our Congress is not focusing in on the deteriorating infrastructure, why we're not setting up enterprise zones, why we're not setting up tax incentives to allow all the billions, hundreds of billions being made off this stock market, which the barons said yesterday. They're estimating nearly $4 trillion has been made in profits under the Trump administration on Wall Street. $4 trillion.
Wow. And somebody mentioned this in the chat room. This is the moment where I realized that Trump might actually be serious. He might actually be real. You remember in the debates when he was going back and forth with Jeb, and Jeb talked about what a great president his brother was and how he protected America, and Trump was like, I think 9/11 happened during your brother's presidency. That doesn't sound like he was protecting us too well.
Yeah. Oh, man, that gets going in a whole different direction. But, yeah, I give credit to the credit where it's given. But today, folks, if Lynn and we were out and we were noticing something. We were seeing the changes in our city. It's getting more crowded here. The diversity of the races are being evident. And I told her, I said, when the system collapses, and it will, I said, this is going to be anarchy here. I said, we got to get the hell out of here.
Where are you going to go?
We're looking some places. Where there wouldn't be anyone be able to get on the property that would, let's say, be in a line of sight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes sense. I have a more optimistic outlook, but it's certainly possible what you're talking about.
When I served as a consultant with the Federal Reserve, we did this project. And listen, they've already planned for it. They know something is going to happen. Our task was to build scenarios of when the system collapsed, how do you get cash into the survivors, the ones that will have to deal with the aftermath. And we came up with a number of scenarios. I mean, you think about it. Right now, we're living in virtually a cashless society. The grid goes down. What do you have for commerce?
It's a good question.
Yeah. And we know statistically, this came under the Clinton administration, by the way, that the average household has less than 1 day of fresh food. Most houses after 3 days will be out of food.
Yeah, it's time to put some stuff together. No matter, we're not telling you got to be a prepper, but hey,
No.
You got to at least be able to take care of yourself. And Wayne, completely off the subject, but I have discovered my concealed carry firearm.
Yes.
The Glock 27.
Oh, you like that one, huh?
I like that one.
All right. We'll have to talk. I mean, where I love that. So,
but I like to shoot the 40s. I do. I know that the 9mm is easier, but I like shooting the 40s.
40s are nice. It's kind of, the 45. I had a friend who had a 50 caliber, and it's no fun to shoot.
Well, the 40s were invented for law enforcement and for self-protection. They're invented to put big holes in people and stop them really quickly.
I have a Zig, so yeah. So, Jeff, you know what this is.
I do know what that is.
Have you ever turned it on its side and ever looked at it from the air?
Looks like a circuit board, right?
Yeah, and check that out. So this is the temple. Doesn't it look like a collector to you?
It does.
You see the cross in there as well?
I do.
I was cleaning some stuff out and came across this, and I said, I have to show this to Jeff. This is really weird.
It is really weird.
I mean, it's strange.
And what's strange is that there's so many Christians that want to see that thing rebuilt. That's really strange.
Are you nuts? Are you crazy, man? So, Jeff, I am into a book, buddy. This is a good page turner. Who murdered Moses?
Oh, that's a good one. Chad says he likes a revolver. I don't like the long pull.
Yeah. Aging. This book.
Hey, DeJane.
If it is, and the premise of this book, they handled this as a murder case, as a cold case. And these were two detectives, actual detectives. And there's a good case that this whole Judaic Abrahamic belief system ain't what we were told.
The only thing I wonder is, how do you kill a guy that wasn't real?
Well, unless you had him as a priest.
Interesting.
I mean, if Moses didn't exist, I mean, because Moses is a title. I didn't realize that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's the magus, the magician.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you see Trump? This is out of the chat room. Do you see President Trump going after the Fed?
Yes.
I do too.
Maybe his undoing, but yes.
He'll do that after the 2020
I
elections.
think that if he gets in, that because it's the same thing that Barack, every second term president knows this. You're a lame duck. So you spend all your political capital. Yeah. And think about this. Think of the implications is if Trump removes the Fed. It's not in the Constitution. It's in none of the amendments.
Right.
It is a de facto private corporation that has ripped off the American citizen, literally enslaved us. We're not free. We don't have control of our own money.
No, we don't.
And if you folks think that you're a free person, a sovereign citizen in the United States, you're a fool. You're a slave. Actually, what you are, we all are indentured servants.
It's not what we think it is, that's for sure.
It's not.
Wayne, would you be alarmed if, let me just paint a scenario for you and tell me if this alarms you. And, when you put in your opinion, that's okay, but putting it in 5 or 6 times in capitals is not okay.
That's yelling.
Yeah. But Donald Trump wins the election.
Mm-hmm.
Things are going really good. And then an amendment gets, or they are going to vote on an amendment to remove, and I forget which amendment it is, that limits the presidency to 2 terms.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a chance for Trump to run again. How would that make you feel?
Dangerous. I don't like. Here's the problem. I think it's the 23rd, maybe it's the 19th Amendment. I'm not sure. It's one of the two. I think all offices, we got to get rid of politicians. We need statesmen.
I agree.
My feeling is this, is that you reduce the Senate and Congress to 2-year terms. You set up barracks for every representative of both chambers. They don't have to worry about housing. We'll put them in barracks. They don't get a salary. No salaries, no free health care. What you will get is a stipend representative to what you left your job with.
And if everybody says, oh, that's horrible, that's awful. Look, I was in the military for 6 years, and guess what? We had barracks.
Yeah, you did.
And we had a very low salary. Now, we did get our food and our health paid for. Do the exact same thing for elected officials, including the president. Of course, he won't be able to live in a barracks. It'd have to be a little different. But do the same thing for elected officials that you do for the military. Exactly the same setup.
Yeah,
Let's see how many politicians stay for 20 years.
Yeah, they won't.
No.
You won't have a politician. You'll have is patriotic Americans representing Americans.
Yep.
And by the way, all lobbying would be shut off. Now, they'll complain you'll stop the economy. Listen, if the economy is running because you have thieves and bribers in Congress, then let the economy stall. Yeah. Because this is the problem. Listen, I'll tell you how the housing problem becomes resolved. You set up tent cities, and then you begin to have educational trade programs. I think that in every city, they need to open up the trades. There should be for carpenters, electricians, every type of tradesman that's out there. There should be an option. Instead of going to college, let's stop this scam. Going to college hasn't produced anything.
Wayne, can I say something?
Yes,
if you're coming out of high school and you're getting ready to go to college and you're picking out colleges, you're really, really stupid.
You're stupid.
Don't go to college, dummies. Get a trade.
A trade. I was a drywall finisher. Really good. I was an elite in my field. I was a journeyman, master journeyman. And I think that instead of college, people should go to trade school. I think that you should also make it mandatory 2 years military service or civil service.
I agree with that. And guess what? When you become a tradesperson, you're making, anywhere between $20 and $40 an hour to start. Guess what? There's no college bills, debt, no college loans to pay off either.
A journeyman electrician in the Denver area can make $130,000 a year.
Yep, but you do have to work now.
You gotta work, And you think about this. You get 2 years military service. So now the colleges will scream because they've been scamming us. They're getting these federal student loans. And listen, I agree. You've got people today in $1.3 trillion worth of debt and student loans.
And who's making the money between what the college actually cost and what the amount these people are having to pay back? Who's making that money?
Well, that's the question. Follow the money. And then you're going to find out, it's crazy. But I think all of these things could be done. But you know what? No politician sitting in Congress will do this.
Ooh, Patty Masbrook just says that this will stop the brainwashing of liberal mental institutions called colleges. That is so true.
Salute. Way to go, Patty. That's exactly it.
Kenny went to a mechanic school and has been a GM tech for 27 years, really good money, and he doesn't work weekends.
Lawrence, you find that stretcher. Every Cub goes through that, every greenhorn. But Jeff, that was how America was built.
Yeah.
We got a crumbling infrastructure. The problem is the snowflakes, they don't want to work. My wife can't find dependable help.
Yep.
And folks, you millennials, you guys suck. You have no work ethics. And don't come back and tell me that I'm wrong, because I'll show you how right I am.
Yep.
And let me tell you how scary it gets. We have an aging baby boomer population. The millennials will add to that.
Ooh, that's an interesting point.
Who's going to take care of us?
And Jeannie Griffith makes a statement that's probably an overstatement, but there is a kernel of truth in it. She says college is the Jesuits' way. There are a lot of Jesuit colleges. They're not all Jesuit by any stretch, but that's a good point.
Good point. What was Notre Dame, Yale? They were all religious schools.
Harvard, all of the original ones were.
Yeah, they were. All of them were Christian higher education.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But
Yeah.
the trades are definitely the way to go.
I think it's something, I'm a big believer in it. And there's nothing better satisfying than seeing your own work.
Absolutely. You sit back and you build something. I remember both my grandfathers were general contractors. And I remember the pride that I felt. I would drive down the road and point out a high school or a bank and say, hey, my granddad or my granddaddy built that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's where we have to go. You look at what Roosevelt did in the WPA program.
We're talking FDR.
FDR. Thank you. It saved the South. I know in Tennessee, you have the TVA.
Yeah.
That completely revolutionized the whole Appalachian area. I contend we should immediately, when you get out of high school or if you drop out, you have to have 2 years service to the country. Now,
be a policeman, go to the military.
Volunteer, community service, whatever it is. There will be a stipend paid, like in the military. But here's the other thing. If you're taking unemployment benefits, our infrastructures in these cities have got to begin to get rebuilt.
Yep.
Now, we can't have the political bribery and payoff that happened in Boston. I think that dig is still going on.
Yeah, the big dig.
Yeah.
The never-ending dig.
The never-ending dig. There needs to be a federal investigation from the Justice Department and see exactly which mafia group is involved here. But anyway, I digress. But if we don't start rebuilding the city, so here's an idea. All of these illegal migrants, let's put them in a camp and let them work for their temporary green cards.
Well, let's back it up even further than that. And this is going to get me in trouble, but I don't understand why every single person that is on supplemental income benefits from the United States government is not assigned a job and a task to do.
Yes,
you should not be able to sit home and eat Twinkies and watch Oprah and collect your check. The only work they do is walk into the mailbox once a month to pick up their check. There's things that can be done in every community, good, honest work. Clean up your streets, serve in those soup kitchens, do something instead of sitting on your increasingly fat ass in your house. Now, of course, if you're infirm, there's still things you can do. You can file paperwork, you can do all kinds of stuff. But not only is it wrong for you to sit there and take something for nothing, but it destroys you as a person. You need to have be contributing for what you're getting. I hate to quote Paul, but Paul said, if a man or a woman doesn't work, neither shall they eat. We should all be doing something to contribute.
Listen, I agree. But the thing is you're going to find out with people, to the vast majority, how many of them suddenly have health problems. Oh, I can't do that. I've got a heart problem. I got diabetes. Yeah, you got diabetes and a heart problem because you sit on your ass.
But you can still go into an office and file paperwork
Absolutely.
and make copies. And
absolutely, you can.
If you can work a remote, you can work a copy machine.
I mean, it's like robotics. It's like why we have to build robotics for the fields.
And Stephanie Martin says, so bitter today. Where's the love? I'm sorry if it's bitter to say that if you're going to get $12,000, $15,000, $2,000 a month from the government that you should do something for it, then call me bitter, cousin. I come from a different generation. I come from a better America where we didn't want to sit on our ass. We wanted to work for what we receive, and it made better people. It made better countries. It makes a better world. And I'm telling you, here we go, Wayne. If you sit in your home and don't do any work and don't contribute to anybody, not only are you lazy, not only are you increasingly fat, you're also not going anywhere spiritually.
No. I mean, I was on my own at 15. I didn't have a government check. No one came and was paying for my meals or putting a roof. I slept in a trash bin for the first couple of nights. I mean, you're 15 years old. There was no safety net for me. No one gave a crap. And you know what? When you're faced with that, you're going to do one of two things, Jeff. You're going to either die or you're going to live.
Necessity is the mother of invention. I mean, every city. I live in a very, very small little town here. Very small little town. And I don't know if there's anybody in this particular town that's on supplemental income. But I know that even in this little bitty town, everybody that's on welfare, everybody that's getting food stamps, they could very easily be doing something in that town to help out, pick up trash, work at the animal shelter. There's a million things that could be done. And it gives you a sense of self-worth too, that you're doing something.
I mean, I can look at the St. Louis Arch. I did this was back in the 70s, but my work is still there.
I want to go see that arch. I've never actually seen it. I've driven past it, but I want to actually go see it.
It's kind of cool. I mean, I did the whole museum. It was all my drywall work in there, but I got to ride up with the engineers when they had to adjust the tram and they have to go up and change the light bulb on the top. Far freaking out. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about people that are on, retired Social Security. They're retired.
No, listen, you put in your time. That's what it's about. It's about having that time where you can retire. You can pursue other things.
Yeah, I'm not trying to put your grandma to work.
No. We're talking, listen, let's just be real.
Zora says most people that receive food stamps do work. Well, that's good. All of them should.
Yeah, I mean, if you're 20, 30, 40, in that range, you should be outside doing a manual job, or if you have a technical skill, then do it. You can work from home.
Wayne, am I a really bad person? Because I'm going to say something that's probably going to get me in trouble. And again, I know there's some people that are doing the best they can. There's some people that are doing everything they can, but that's not most people. And I tell you what, now you've got the EBT cards, right? Their benefits come on a card, and it looks just like you're paying with a regular credit card. I think there was some value to having to go up there with food stamps, have the social stigma of a food stamp to make you want to work so you don't have to get no food stamps.
That was the Federal Reserve's policy. And the Congress went with it. You know why?
Why?
Because they didn't want to embarrass people.
Sometimes embarrassment is a great motivator.
Yeah, that's why they did that. Well, plus there's a lot of other reasons, but yeah. Um, I don't know. These are hard choices we have to make. And the problem is our politicians of the past kick the can and, well, Johnny Ringo look like, we're facing this. And Jeff, I know what fiscal policy is, and it's just getting to the point where we got to do something. I don't know.
We do have to do something.
Wow, this has been a political hour for sure.
It has. It has.
Well, it needed to be talked about. I mean, if we can't talk about this, if we're under fear of censorship, under fear of rebuttal, or because someone else has an opposing view, folks, if we get to that, it's game over.
Oh, here's a good point. Zora Dax says that food stamps were easy to steal for cash. I get that.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of reasons for it. Listen, I don't think that anyone should go hungry.
No.
I think that in the food service industry, it has been a problem for decades. The food service industry alone each day could feed virtually all the homeless. It's amazing. We throw away 60% of our food.
And it wouldn't be that hard to coordinate it either.
No. But you know why you can't do it? Because of cities' regulations and ordinances.
So stupid. It just, it would not be that hard to figure out. To me, I don't even know what I'm doing, but let's say Wayne's restaurant. Wayne has his food. Usually Wayne throws his food away, but for an hour and a half after Wayne's restaurant closes, people that are on welfare come in and serve meals to people that can't eat from the food that Wayne would have thrown away.
Yeah. Listen, the Supreme Court ruled once you put something in the trash and you put it to the street, it's no longer yours. It's the public's. But here, in this state and in other states, when these grocery stores and restaurants dump their food into the trash bins, it's illegal for a person to go what they call bin diving.
Man, what's wrong with dumpster diving?
So you telling me that the cops don't have anything better to do, that a hungry person is in a dumpster getting food that's been thrown out, and now you're going to take them to jail, which is more of a burden to the local citizen. It's
take him to jail so you can feed him in jail.
And probably less quality of food than he was getting in the trash can.
Yeah, but the food should never make it to the trash can. What kind of an intelligent society throws away food when there's hungry people?
Yeah, and then those who want to give, well, they can't because of a Sydney ordinance. Well, you don't have this license, and we don't have a health inspector. Really?
Wayne, we have a confession.
Uh-oh.
Cynthia L. says that she has dumpster dove for flowers before.
Oh, I have. Listen. Yeah. Cynthia, high five.
Dude, if I see something good in a dumpster, I will dive my ass in for it. I have no problem.
I have done it in my youth many times. Listen, if I found something that was of value in the trash, I'm not. Are you kidding me?
I'm not too proud.
Listen, I could refurbish it, resell it. Who knows,
Yeah. But there's just no reason for us to be throwing away food while there's hungry people on the street. It just makes no sense.
No, we've got to. And when you think about the housing problem, we could solve that one very quickly. It's not that big of a deal. It's
really not.
It's not. If you look at what we spend particularly in the Federal Housing Administration, and I do know this. I want to say this. Ben Carson, what a good man. I know the man. I know his wife, and he is heading up HUD. Ben is a man who is going, if allowed, will change many of these situations that we're talking about.
Absolutely. He just needs to be empowered more.
He is
a smart guy, too, and a man of integrity.
he's the type of guy you just want to hug. He's a very good man. Very good man, Jeff.
Dr. Ben Carson, we should
Dr.
say.
Ben Carson. And there was a movie made on him. He's a famous brain surgeon. And he's his wife. These are people that you and Cynthia and Lynn and I would like to have dinner with.
You don't have to be it doesn't take a brain surgeon, but if you need one, Ben's got it covered.
He does. And he's smart. He's
a brain surgeon, Wayne.
Well, of course, yeah.
Of course he's smart.
Of course he is. Anyway, so this has been a little different show, but I think in quality of context, it's superb.
Absolutely. Well, Wayne, it's been a pleasure. Everyone in the chat room, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's fun, Jeff.
Everybody go eat some pancakes and relax.
It's a good. What are you going to be doing this week, my friend?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm taking the rest of the day off. That much I know.
I'm
not either, because tonight we have the first Shut Up and Listen nationally syndicated.
Excellent. Now, is that on
Well, it'll be on 9 p.m. tonight here Central on the YouTube channel, and it's on 76 stations across the country that will give you the places on as soon as we know them.
Excellent. Well, I have no doubt you shall excel, my friend.
It'll be fun.
But take some time off. How's the construction going?
On what?
Weren't you having construction done on your place?
Oh, they redid the bathroom. It looks real nice.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing to do. I like refurbished bathrooms.
Absolutely. Well, Wayne, it's been a pleasure.
Jeff, it always is. I look forward to it every Sunday, and it's a delight. By the way, next week will be 2 years.
No kidding. We'll have to do something about that.
We started the second week in July.
Oh, Little Caesars throws away 24 pizzas at least every day.
Wow. You see? And multiply that by how many stores?
Oh, man. That's terrible.
I mean,
something can be done. Give them to Lois. She could use them.
Yeah. Boy, that's an idea, by the way. I hadn't thought about that, but she'll tell you the state regulation, she can't call it a food bank. That's illegal.
What does she call it?
It has to be called a pantry, a food pantry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
All right, Wayne. Nice to see you, brother.
All right. Give my best to the lady.
Will do. Nice to see everyone in the chat room. Much love and appreciation to all of you. And we'll see you again next week.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.